Alright guys, so as many of you know, if you watched my previous videos, I'm applying for the Spain Digital Nomad Visa and in the hopes of moving to Barcelona. It's been my goal for a while now, and currently I'm actually back in America getting my paperwork sorted so I can get it all ready for the moment that we can actually start applying for the visa, because it's not quite yet ready. So in this video, I'm going to share with you everything we know so far. I've spoken to multiple immigration lawyers, done a lot of research, watched so many videos. So I'm going to share with you what I know as an applicant for the visa, for what you need, what the requirements are, and what we expect to see in the future, because these are all definitely super important. So first of all, let's start off with saying the visa is not approved yet. This is January 16th when I'm making this video, and as of right now, the visa is not actually officially ready to go. So there's many things online that you see that are definitely not telling the full truth. So the visa is a part of this new startup law. So Spain is trying to increase the amount of teleworkers, remote workers, and startups that want to come to Spain to help Spain obviously make some more money. So that is why there is this new startup law that decreases taxes for businesses to come and build their startup within Spain, and also a visa for digital nomads and remote workers to come live in Spain and be a tax resident. So the startup law has been passed and it is approved. However, the visa is a component of that startup law. So it is not in effect yet. You cannot apply for it, even if people tell you that you can apply and see if you get approved. I wouldn't risk it if I were you. I would just wait until everything comes out and you know exactly what it is that you need to apply. So let's go through what this actual digital nomad visa is. So what the visa does for you is it allows you to live in Spain for up to 5 years. You become a tax resident of Spain. You can freely travel within Europe. You must obviously be a remote worker and digital nomad, and you must be a non-EU citizen. So obviously this is great for us Americans and great for the Brits. My boyfriend's British, and obviously Brexit absolutely freaking screwed them when it came to living in Europe. So this is a great option for them as well, and I think it's going to really pull a lot of people wanting to call Spain a really big new digital nomad hub in 2023 and beyond, because besides Barcelona, there are so many other great places for digital nomads. There's Canary Islands, which is a massive spot for digital nomads. There's obviously Madrid, there's Barcelona, there's Valencia is a really big remote working place, and there's Tenerife. There's so much in Spain, like honestly, so much. So I'm really excited to be applying for this visa, and I'm excited to give you guys a little bit more insight, because let me tell you, not all of the articles and the information online is true, and I have learned that the hard way. So start off with obviously your requirements. So number one, biggest one, you have to be a remote worker. Now this comes in parts, and I have some documents here on my computer that I'm going to be going over just to give you guys an idea of what that actually means. So you can be an employee for a company, but you have to be 100% remote. So you've got to be working for a company where you have a contract that says you carry out your work remotely and you don't have to, you know, go to any office or show up anywhere in any location. You have to be a remote worker. You can also be a freelancer. So I am a freelancer, I own my own business, and you can also apply as well. So either one really works, but you have to be a remote worker. Now, with that said, you also have to prove that your company that you're working for or your own personal company has been up and running for at least a year. The company needs to show that it is a proven remote workspace. So whether that's freelancer, your personal business has been running as a freelancer for over a year, or you are working for an employee and you have been working and that company has been running for a year. So whether that be freelancer with multiple clients, that is a-okay. It is all totally fine if you have short-term clients, whatever. You just have to make sure that you can prove that you've been working with the clients you have for at least 3 months. So you need some sort of client contract proving your income and proving that you've been working remotely for at least 3 months with those specific clients. So you don't need a year client contract, but you do need at least 3 months. And then obviously if you're an employee one, you need to prove with your client contract that you've been working online for at least 3 months. So that is like the basic requirement. And then it breaks down farther with that. So basically from there, like, you need to also make sure that in your contracts that you have with your employer and with your freelance clients that it specifically states in your contract that the work is done remotely, and like have evidence of that, and that'll be obviously within your contract. You can ask your employer for or your terms, conditions, whatever it might be, but it has to say specifically that you work remotely. So do not leave that out in your contracts. So obviously you need to prove that you've been working remotely. With that proof, you also need to prove that you are eligible and you have skills and whatnot. So you need to show a university degree. So if you have your university degree, you need to request that from your university. Make sure you have the official paperwork saying you've graduated, what degree you have, everything like that. If you have not graduated, that's okay, but you need to prove that you have 3 years of work experience doing what you're doing. So you must show that, you know, obviously you are in the position that you're in for at least 3 years, and you've been working, you know, in your field for at least 3 years. So if you haven't, you can't yet apply. You have to wait for that 3-year period if you don't have a university degree. So that is definitely a big one. So those are kind of like the working side of it. And with the working side of it, one of the parts of a digital nomad visa that is quite misleading in a lot of the articles is taxes. So put it up straight, you will be a tax resident of Spain. However, the 15% tax rule is only for startup businesses. If you are an employee or you are a freelancer, you're a digital nomad pretty much, and it's just you coming here to Spain, your taxes will actually be 24%. So it is not the 15% that everyone likes to put out in the articles and make it seem super low. That is true, but it's not true for digital nomads. It is not true for remote workers. It is only true for people who are actually doing their startup business within Spain and registering it in Spain. So that is definitely something to remember. Like I said, do your research because not everything is as it seems for sure. So that is a big part of it. And then some of the paperwork you need. Now, there's a whole list, and I will be giving you a list like at the end of the screen with everything, so do not think that you won't get it. You'll have everything. So as of right now, we obviously have the fact that you need to prove that your company has been active for at least a year. You need to prove that you have been working with that business or those freelance clients with at least 3 months prior to your digital nomad application. And then you need to show that your work can be done remotely. This will be within your contract. So obviously those two can probably go hand in hand. You're gonna need your bank statements, obviously, with your money coming in to prove that you've been working there for 3 months at least. And then you need to have your university degree or proof of 3 years of working experience in your field. So that is the beginning part. Now the next section is gonna be your criminal record check. This is a big one because other countries do it differently. My boyfriend was able to actually just request his criminal record online in the UK and get it mailed to his house. In America, it is much more different. I actually had to fly back to America specifically for this paperwork. So if you are an American, you're gonna have to be in America to get this done. I'm just letting you know. You have to actually go to an agency or a post office or a police station, sorry, my brain, a police station, to go actually get your fingerprints done to even request the criminal record check. So there's 2 ways to do it. You can do it a live scan option or you can do it by mail. Highly suggest doing the live scan option. I've done lots of research. I've talked to people. The live scan option, you can get it back within like a couple days to like 2 weeks and have like the full paperwork and everything done. By mail, it could take 4 weeks if you're lucky, but it could also take up to 12 weeks. And that's what the government tells you on the website and lets you know. So you don't want to be waiting that long. Try and find a live scan agency that'll do it for you right there and then. Some police stations I think will do it for you, not 100% on that. My police station I called, they only do the actual old school ink fingerprints on the paper that I have to mail in, and you know, your girl is not waiting. 3 freaking months for a goddamn paper to say that I'm not a criminal, because I'm not, and I have nothing on my record. So we're not doing that. We are doing the live scan option. It's a little bit more, it costs like $50, so worth it. Absolutely, if you're American, do the live scan. You can just go into Google, type in live scan fingerprinting criminal record check. It'll bring you right to a page. You type in your location of where you want to go. It shows you the closest places. Bing, bam, thank you, ma'am. Go, get it done. Nice and easy. So that is the first part of your criminal record check, having to request it. Now, once you get it, you have to get it apostilled. So apostille is like a notary, which is like a higher up signature, just saying that it's legit. But an apostille is like even higher than a notary. So it's actually like a state level, agency level government kind of ordeal where they will actually put a seal like on your paper or give you a paper with a seal, whatever one it is, saying that like the government recognizes this as a real document and it's not fraud or anything, which makes sense because, you know, Spain wants to make sure you're not a criminal before you're coming to live in Spain and they have to deal with you. But you cannot get that apostille done abroad. I did extensive research when I was in the UK trying to see if I could request my criminal record check by mail, get it in the mail, and then get it apostilled by the UK, and they do not do it. The UK will not apostille a US criminal record check, and it does make sense because how can they vouch for it? I don't know. But it's called a Hague, I think I'm saying this right, Hague apostille, and it's basically a treaty between all these countries saying that, like, once you have this apostille on the paper, it is recognized by the other countries as legit, and you definitely, absolutely, 100% need that on your criminal record. And your criminal record has to be good for 90 days from your application point. So make sure when you request it, you are going to be applying within less than 90 days, just because in case they don't get your application and then it's in and your thing's over, you don't want that to happen. Make sure you get it within less than 90 days, and then you want to make sure that you get it apostilled correctly and do the whole thing, the Hague apostille on your criminal record check. Obviously, if you're not American, it won't be an FBI one, it'll be whatever your government stuff is called, but make sure you have the like country's criminal record check with the apostille. Don't mess that up. I've had friends who did the criminal record check, then they got the appointment and it took a while to get the appointment with the apostille, and then they got the like apostille done or whatever, and they went to submit it and then it was over 90 days. Like, you just try and make it easy for yourself and get it like quickly within when you're going to be applying. With the apostille, the second thing that you potentially need to be apostilled, I've seen this from two different immigration lawyers, that you need to have your university degree apostilled. So definitely keep that in the back of your mind when you're getting your other stuff apostilled, get that done. Now, you also have to prove that you haven't been banned from entering the Schengen area, ever. Hopefully you haven't had issues. If you have, then you might want to clear those up because I don't think you're going to get your visa approved. And then the next part is that you actually need to have private health insurance. So because we're digital nomads and we're Spain tax residents, but we're not paying, I guess, full taxes, we actually don't get the Spanish public health. We have to have Spanish private health. I will put up on the screen a recommendation to me for Spanish private health. It was like 60 to 80 euros a month. It really wasn't that bad. So that is probably what I'm going to be using. I'm going to get that insured as soon as I have all my paperwork started and going, and I get my criminal record stuff, and that's kind of in the works and moving. So you want to make sure that you have that. The next part, and this is, I will preface this by saying that you kind of need to just keep an eye out on what this requirement is, because right now it is unsure. I know I feel like I said this a few times. There are a lot of parts that are unsure. We know exactly what papers we need. The little minute details are what we're waiting to find out on, but at least you can get a head start on all this stuff now. So you need to prove that you have sufficient funds. So when everything first came out, it was that you need to prove that you have at least 2,100 monthly income coming in euros to prove that you make enough to obviously survive in Spain. Now, recently, that has been kind of changed a bit, and it's been saying that you need to have 26,000 euros in your bank account at the time of application, which is pretty much like the 2,100 times 12 is about the 26,000. So the visa agents are right now, assuming that based on past visas, like the non-lucrative visa for Spain, you have to prove that you have X amount in your bank account to show that you can survive in Spain. It might be the same with the digital nomad visa. That is a new recent update that I've seen, but some places are still saying you just need to prove monthly income. So definitely keep a lookout for that part to see if anything's changed, anything new is going on, because you definitely want to make sure you have all of that. Now, obviously, you need to have all of these certificates and documents ready to go. And with that, obviously, is translation. Now, a lot of your documents, which it makes sense, you're gonna go live in Spain, they speak Spanish, so you gotta have things translated. Now, some documents, I believe you can just have Google translation, but some of them you actually need to be officially translated. And by officially translated, it means there's a list in Spain of official translators that are approved by the government that you have to use to get everything translated specifically by them and approved. So you can't just like pop it over to any translator and ask them to translate it for you. Some of the documents, I believe you can just do a simple translation, but the criminal record check, I know for 100% fact, needs to be translated by an official Spanish translator. So you need to have that done. And then there's potential that you need to have your bank statements officially translated into Spanish, and your university degree. And I think that was it, your university degree. And I don't think your contract has to be specifically like translated by an official translator. Still waiting to hear on all of that, but definitely 100% your criminal record has to be officially translated. The other ones in limbo as of right now is your contract, your bank statements, and your university degree. One of the other visas you need is get your bank statements translated for, so that is why that's kind of like up in the air, something potential. And usually you need to get your health certificate translated, but because we're getting private health insurance this visa and you're required to, you don't need to have the medical certificate, so don't worry about that. You want to have it obviously translated, but there's a potential for a few more documents to be officially translated. So just as a forewarning, the translation is charged by page and it is not cheap. So you're looking upwards of like $10+ I think per page for a translation. I could be 100% wrong. I saw one translator was $20 per page. Really hoping that's not the case, but you know, you have to get it done. You cannot go through these loopholes. So there's a lot of stuff that you kind of need to get done before you apply and have all this paperwork ready to go. So one good thing about this visa is that there's two ways in which you can apply. You can apply at home from your Spanish consulate. So if you don't have 90 days to enter Spain, then you would have to apply from home. When you apply from home, then you would get a 1-year approval on your digital nomad visa. And then when you get to Spain, you would then apply for the next half and you do a little bit more paperwork. Not anywhere near as much as you did for the first part, but a little bit more paperwork to actually get your registered card for living there, your residency card, and that would give you 3 years. Now, if you apply from within Spain, when you get approved, you automatically get the 3-year residence card. So it's a little more straightforward. I'm going to be applying from within Spain. I just think it's way, way easier. Plus, I would rather be there and apply than have to apply and wait even longer to hear back and then move to Spain. So definitely there's a lot of like things up in the air. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything that we need, and I want to explain to you guys. Just most of it is really proving you're a remote worker, proving your contracts, proving you're not a criminal record, that you have a degree and training and credentials, and that you filled the application form and you pay the fees, private health insurance, and your bank statements. So with that said, I want to warn you to be really careful with some of these immigration lawyers. They are absolutely ripping you off. I've had 4 quotes now from different immigration lawyers, and I can tell you they're ranging from 600 euros to 1850. This is without tax, and VAT tax there is like 21%. So if you do that, it's over $2,000 from some visa agencies. What they're doing for you is they are reviewing your paperwork, making sure it's all good and dandy and submitting it for you, getting your foreign ID number for you, and then getting you an appointment to get your registration card in Spain. I'm not saying that you don't need a visa immigration lawyer. I am using one specifically. I will share the contact information for who I'm using and who I plan on using. And let me tell you, don't go with the immigration people who are going to charge you $18.50 for a visa. That is nowhere near that expensive. It actually like angered me when I got the email back with the quote from them, because I was like, you're genuinely ripping people off. Like, you're genuinely trying to make as much money from people. The visa is proposed to not be more than like 400 euros if you did it on your own, which, listen, I don't suggest anyone does that unless you are a fluent Spanish person and you have some Spanish friends to help you. I don't even know if you can, but I don't suggest it. I suggest you working with somebody, but work with somebody who's actually going to help you, is not trying to rip you off and just make like over $1,000 off of you, because that's absolutely ridiculous. And the Spanish immigration lawyers who do this, you're ridiculous. And I don't care if that people get angry at me for that, but like, you should not be charging people that much when the visa is not even that expensive. So definitely do your research. The person that I was working with was quoting around 700 euros. Now, there is some paperwork and stuff going on that may or may not be needed, so that price may change a little bit, but 700 euros is way more reasonable than 1850. Like, no. So just watch out. Like, honestly, watch out for some of these people. But I'm really excited to get the process started. I'm actually going to get my fingerprints done tomorrow. I'm going to a live scan place. They will scan my paperwork and scan my fingerprints, send it off and submit it for me, and I'll hear back from them within a few days, with them saying, obviously, you have no criminal record, because I've never been in trouble before, don't have any issues, so that should come back relatively fast. And then I'll work on the Apostille and all that. So I'm home for a month to get all this sorted. I'm just gonna give myself a buffer with paperwork and mailing things in and waiting for apostilles and all of that goodness. And plus, it's not even open yet, the visa, so it doesn't really matter. We don't have enough days to even go wait in Spain and wait it out, go like live there and wait it out. So we have to wait outside of Spain. My boyfriend's actually in the UK right now because he has to get his own paperwork and stuff sorted and finalized, and I have to come here and get mine sorted in America. So I'm hoping that's a quick, nice and easy job. But to give you a little wrap up, here's all the things that you need to make sure that you have, that we went over today. Obviously, you need to make sure you have your contracts with your employer, to make sure you've been working, or your employer's been running for at least a year, or your freelance business has been running for at least a year, that you are also outside of Spain. You want to make sure that you can show your contract that you've been working with them for at least 3 months prior to application. You must prove that you exceed the minimum income requirement, which they're guessing is going to be around 2,100. And we're unsure now if that's going to mean you need all of that in the bank for 12 months or if that can just be a monthly income. We will have to wait and see. And then you need to prove that you have a university degree or 3 years of work experience before application. Then you need to show you have a criminal record and that you've never been barred entry from Spain or the Schengen area, and that it is legal and apostilled. Don't forget the apostille. I would also apostille your university degree. It is just worth it, just in case. And then you have to give a declaration that you have not been a criminal for at least 5 years. I think you just like write a letter or you fill out a form. Should be easy. Then you just fill out the application form for the digital nomad visa, pay your fee, make sure you have private health insurance, and send that baby in. Send that baby in and then just wait and see if you get approved. And obviously, fingers crossed for me, for everyone, arms crossed, toes crossed, all of it, that everyone gets approved who really wants to go live in Barcelona or live in Spain in general. They're saying potentially that you could hear back within 20 days whether you are approved or not, which is amazing and would be so good. Hopefully it's a 20 days and then you have 3 years to live in Spain. And then after that 3 years in the residency card, you would do a renewal application for the last 2 years of your 5 available to you. And then obviously, if you want to become a full resident of Spain, there's a process you can do after those 5 years. So you can live there longer, you know, and then you can apply for Spanish nationality, and you better be able to get on your Spanish game. I'm going to be taking lessons very soon because I used to be really good at Spanish. I lived in Barcelona University, but didn't speak for like 8 years. Afterwards, lost a lot of it. So I'm going back into my Spanish lessons. I'm really excited, but that is what you need to know as of now. I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed it and if you want to keep watching along my journey for this whole process of moving to Barcelona, getting there, moving in, apartment searching, all of that, plus my daily vlogs and travel stuff and tips and stories and all of the goodness, you know, all that good stuff, then hit the like and subscribe button below. Do not miss out. Come join this amazing community. I'm really excited. I'm super passionate about this channel, and I'm so excited to just grow with you guys this year and just really build it up and bring as much as I can to you. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, hit the subscribe button. Do not forget, and catch you guys in the next video. Bye.